Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the Spiritual Ranch. I am not no no way. I'm the Off Grid Oracle. Welcome to our channel, and welcome to the other side of the mountain, right? And the inconsistent terrain that we can encounter along the way as mountain climbers. And so I don't know if I posted the read I did where I was talking about being Mountain Billy, and that was I was working with the Bulgarians, and I was trying to explain to them what it was to be a hillbilly because I was raised up as a hillbilly, up in Oregon, and they kept telling me they always would call me Mountain Billy. They'd say, "Oh, what's this thing, Mountain Billy?" And so we're Mountain Billies, right? We're out here trying to climb the mountain, trying to stand in that goat energy, and we've been getting a lot of the earth energies definitely in our reads. They've been just dominating, right? King and Queen of Pentacles is dominating, has been dominating, trying to dominate, definitely dominating, or learning how to maybe. But I think that's also because of the astrological stuff that's going on as well, you know. And so it's been tricky, and so it's like we got to be the goat, we got to know how to navigate because to climb the mountain, we got to keep our feet under us. And on a mountain, it's like you can encounter all the other elements, right? And so there's a lot of things that can get you to topple off of your feet. And so right now, that's what we're trying to figure out how to be. Is that mountain, like literally, like unmovable, in a sense that um, that we're not gonna be. It's like we can't be shaken right now. It's like we have to not be shaken, or toppled, because like if we tumble down again, it's like I keep saying, I'm like, welcome to our channel, welcome to the other side of the mountain. It's like, well, okay, yeah, we're on the other side of the mountain, or we're looking from the top of the mountain at both sides of the mountain now, so it's like we can see down on either side, and if we're not careful, we can get toppled from that. And so it's like with the fire element, like the mountain could blow its top. That wouldn't be good for us. And so we got to keep our cool. We got to keep collected. We got to keep our cool. We got to be passionate about life, but we got to temper those other aspects of fire that could be so damaging. Because it's like, yeah, boom, that world card. So world card with the 6 of Wands on that break right there. And that's exactly that. We got to be able to got to hold our own. And we got to be comforted by God right now because those other 4 elements, we got to be, if the wind blows too hard on that peak of that mountain, well, it's going to blow you off from that mountain and you're going to tumble down top, and so it's like you got to be rational in your thinking, you got to be realistic in your thinking, you got to have a lot of self-awareness right now. So it's like when you're standing on the top of the mountain, that's how you use air. Otherwise, if you get too lippy or if you get too like flippant, or if you get too insecure, because the opposite of self-awareness is insecurity. Those are the things then that could topple you off from that mountain, and you're either going to go down the one side that you already came up, which is out of everything that you didn't want to be, which was down in that pit. And so you already climbed up that side of the mountain. Well, if you don't keep your thinking straight, you get blown backwards and boop, 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 back down the other side. But on the other side of that mountain is another pit that could suck you down just the same. And so you got to think about where you're going right now, and you got to have that self-awareness to know that it's going to serve you and your higher passions, and your higher calling, and it's not just going to cause that volcano to blow up or cause a fire to start up and just burn everything off of it, all your opportunities, and then like with water, water's like ice. Water is slippery. Water is can't, on top of a mountain, you're not going to get flooded. But if you allow everything right now that's going on around you in your life, or like the ups and downs, or the climbing up, if during that climb you went all the way up, but you broke your heart so many times that you became too cold that everything on that mountaintop is icy, well, you might slip, lose your footing, and then tumble again, and you can either tumble down the one side or you can tumble down the other side that you already came out of, And so it's like that's what we're in the position of right now as we try to, as we are sitting on top of that steed, that mountain, that horse that is God, that has given us that guidance. We're coming into a period where we're going to learn how to hold our own, but we got to be very, very aware of how we use those other elements, or how we let those other elements affect us now. It's especially how we use them, you know, because it's like with those other elements, earth is grounded, it's stable, it's like unmovable, you know, and so it's that element that kind of like everything grows on, you know. It's like it's very rooted, you know, it's grounded, right? And so we're that right now in that mountain energy. But the energies that are unstable are water, air, and fire, because, you know, they're changeable and everything like that. And so they could go, you know, many directions. Water could be fluid or it could be ice. You know, it's like fire could be many different ways. You know, and cause many different things. Same with water. Same with air. You know, they're mobile. They're fluid. They move. You know, they're hard to keep your hands on. Right. You can't grasp them. You know, where with earth, it's like earth. You can grasp it. You can stand on it. You know, and it's what the world needs more of right now. You know, it's what we need more of right now, and that's why the cards have been talking so heavily about that, especially coming into this brand new beginning here. Okay, and so that's why that world card keeps showing up too, because that's us gaining mastery over those other four elements in a sense, you know, and then where we can then manage that 10 of cups, you know, on top of the mountain, you know. So it's like our path is clear, you know, and so it's like when we know that we're the mountain, and that none of those other elements can affect us or topple us, because it's like the only way we can lose our top is if we become a volcano. And so you got to be careful with that fire, right? And I think that's something that a lot of us have had to be careful with, especially in a world that tempts us heavily away from our 10 of cups, because of the things they say that we should be more passionate about, possibly, you know, or they direct us towards things that consume our passion but don't pay us back with the 10 of cups in our soul space, in our heart space, you know. So it's like we're just getting taxed, and we're not even going after things that we love. And that's what we're gonna now have our path cleared towards, is the ability to fully love ourselves and be the mountain. Okay, so it's like it's gonna be that place. Yeah, dude, and the Empress card right there. Bam, you know. And so there you go you guys. That's good energy right now, and that's the energy that we have to stand in to be I'm going to say to be level-headed right now, because we got to be level-headed. You know, it's like if you are, we're standing up there, we're in that other stratosphere right now too, you know, on top of that. Like we just got to the top of the mountain, and so the air is a little thinner up there. And so we got to make sure to really focus on staying level-headed and not letting things bring us down. Like that's what this 10 of cups with this Empress card is saying here right now, is that as an Empress, you have nothing to worry about. You know, you're an Empress, and so if you don't worry about it, then it's most likely not going to happen, because we are fully aware as the Empress, and the High Priestess energy too, which we've been coming out with a lot here lately, is that when we think about things, they manifest. Okay, and so we're trying to manifest from a very high place right now, and so we just gotta be aware of our action reaction. You know, basically, it's like we can't affect, because it's like we can't let the things, we got to be aware. Okay, so it's like, yeah, you know, if others are trying to burn us down, well, we're the mountain, we're the rock, you know, they can't really burn us down. Like, so the Empress don't got to worry about what the hell, how other people feel like that, you know. She just needs to make sure that she has a lot of passion for herself and for her drive, for what she's doing, for her 10 of cups, because she loves herself, right? And so it don't matter what kind of, how people use fire on her. She's ultimately the mountain, and if they want to play games with the mountain, well, she got to be a volcano. So, you know, and then with the water, you know, it's like the same way. It's like you're the mountain, you know, and so water can't wash away a mountain. You know, like a mountain always stands, right? And so and same goes for with air, you know. Air, it can't blow away a mountain, so we don't really care what people think, you know. And if people don't want to feel good with us and see us in that light of an Empress who has full awareness of all of her elements, because of course she's a king and queen of pentacles for sure. She's an Empress, she's got an empire, you know, and so she's solid, stable as fuck. She's a mountain, guaranteed, you know. And so that's you know, you're a mountain. You know, that's us. We're mountains. That's why we're chosen. And we have 10 cups right here. And those 10 cups, like I said, are telling you, just don't worry, you know, like don't worry. Worry is the killer of those 10 cups. I mean, that's what it is, you know? It's like if you worry, then you step back into 9 cups. And then you're kind of like, that's wish fulfillment, right? But wish fulfillment is a lot different than knowing I have everything that I need. And that's that 10 of cups right there. Okay, so stand in that energy and you'll get that energy to match you. And we're going to do 10 of cups moment right now for little guy because I almost forgot. So, little guy, come on up here, dude. Little guy, it's your time to shine. Okay, come on. He got in trouble yesterday too. He ran off, man. He's like, didn't come back for a little bit. I was like, oh no, you know, I get worried out here sometimes. You never know. There's sometimes neighbors got mean dogs or whatever. He's not a very big guy. He's not really a fighter, but he's got his balls, you know. And so it's like, I worry sometimes. He didn't answer for a little bit. But he was over, I guess he was playing with Steve's dog, you know, and so, but still, he should answer. Little guy, come here, come on, up, all the way. And say, little guy, and then we love you, little guy. You're a good doggy, you know. I get really mad at him when he does that. Lay down, come on, over here. I get really mad, but I get lay down. That's enough. Down, little guy, down. Because I just get really worried, you know. I don't want to not have my little guy. You know what I'm saying? And so that was a 10 of cups moment for the little guy. And so back to the mountain, right? Back to talking about you, the mountain. We're talking about the mountain right now. And the inconsistencies that we've kind of had, like right now, it's like right now, like I said, you know, we're in a little bit of, we're on top of the mountain, but we're in unstable terrain, okay? But there is, if we trust this journey right now, with the Fool and the 2 of Wands right there, if we trust this journey, we're going to stay up on those peaks, like I said, you know, like we can navigate on the top of the ridge right there and stay in that high place. And so it's going to have its moments, yeah, you know, for sure. But we got to trust the process and make sure that even though on the ridge it's kind of like this, right? But we got to make sure that we don't go on the other side of the mountain where it's like this, you know. It's like if you look at a mountain, it's like this big side coming up, big side going down. But if you look at the ridge, all the mountains are kind of on a straight line on the ridge. Every once in a while you got to climb up, and then you keep going along on that higher point right there, and we're good, you know, because we're always at that elevated position where we've risen to with that Empress right there and that 10 of Cups, okay? And so that's good. That's good for us to focus on right now. But it seems to me too with that Empress right now, she's kind of standing alone a little bit, you know. The Emperor, I don't know. The Emperor has been and I don't know, kind of just weird energy on the Emperor right now. I don't know. I'm not too sure what the energy is right there, but I think that has to do a lot with what's going on in the world, like the real, like, so it's like outside of our collective, but like on the global scale, kind of like with the leadership right now, there's a lot of real negative Emperor energy. Like we need to switch that up, you know. We need a lot more Empress energy, you know, and that's the work. See, that's us. That's our calling, you know, and that's what we're getting that 10 of Cups with that Empress card. Because Spirit's telling us that this is the time, you know, it's like this is our time right now. Like these, like we've sown the seeds. It's like every time that we are walking up that mountain, we were like Johnny Appleseed, you know, and we had a big bag of seeds with us, and we've been sowing seeds all the way up that mountain, and they've been taking root. They've taken root, like they have, and they've grown. It's just that on our journey, we weren't there for the harvest, you know, and so it's like we've planted lots of seeds along the way, and like those seeds. Even though like we weren't really able to always like like we had to keep moving, you know, it's like for whatever reason, Spirit said, okay, well you planted those seeds, but now you gotta kind of move on. There's another place for you to go plant seeds or whatever, you know. It's like you gotta keep going, and that was hard for us at times because a lot of those gardens that we planted, we didn't want to walk away from them, you know. We really wanted to get that harvest from them. But it's like we had to keep climbing up higher and higher and higher on those mountains, you know, on that mountain. And it's like now looking back, again, you know, because like with every one of those gardens, we had to learn, you know. And so it's like there was a lot of failure, you know, along that way. And we don't want to be fearful of what God's trying to do in our lives. Like we don't want to be doubtful of the abundance that they're bringing in with our future harvest, you know. But it's like we can't be afraid to keep trying, you know. And so that's what Spirit's telling us. It's like they're saying, okay, well, I keep trying to get you up to a little bit of a higher ground with more fertile soil in it. so that when you do finally have that opportunity to put all of those skills to use that you gathered along this way. And so as you're planting those seeds, and you were learning, and so it's like, yeah, you didn't see the harvest. And so maybe it's easy to feel regretful or worry that we didn't learn what we had to learn along the way in order to receive that harvest. But as we reflect now, we can look back. We don't need to look back from a place that is of lack. We don't need to look back from a place that doesn't see the and trust the process. We can look back and go, oh, hey, that's right. Like I gained a lot in those situations right now, and I should have a lot more self-worth instead of feeling like less value because I wasn't able to receive the full bounty of that harvest from those situations. I can look at it for what I gained, from each and every one of those situations. So it's like we're growing now. We're grown now to where hopefully the seeds that you have remaining in that bag of seeds that we've been sowing along the way. And I think that God's saying that we do have that wisdom, that we've saved our best seeds for last, because we always kind of knew that we didn't want to plant them because we kind of knew we weren't going to be able to harvest them, and that's why we have to have that self-awareness now of where we plant them next. Okay, guys? And that's what that Seven of Pentacles is saying right there. And so it's coming. It's just that, oh yeah, no, it's coming. I mean, it's definitely coming. It's like when you look at that Seven of Pentacles, it's kind of like he's still waiting a little bit, and we might be, but we got the Empress with the Ten of Cups. Okay, and so whatever it is that we're gonna plant now on top, bam, High Priestess, bottom of the deck. Okay, and so of course, High Priestess, right? Of course, she belongs with the Empress because she can carry her own load with that Ten of Pentacles or that Ten of Wands. And so it's not always easy being on the top, you guys. It's just really not, and especially when we've had to go all the way from the bottom, and so we have to continue though to understand that sometimes you're all alone on the top too a little bit, and so it's like you got to be able to love yourself. You got to be able to continue to trust God, and continue to, because like with this card, some people read this card as like a card of apologies, and again, it's like with those gardens that we planted, with those seeds that we've sown, a lot of people, a lot of the experiences that we've had, there's a lot of energies that really refuse to see the positive that they gained through you in those situations. And in a lot of ways, you're owning an apology for that. Like you are, like you've done a lot that with others that the process was very difficult. It was very trying, and it wasn't one-sided, but you've put a lot of effort into everything and everybody that you've been kind of working with, because you've really wanted to see your gardens succeed. You wanted to see them come to that fruition where you could get that Seven of Pentacles, and so in a lot of ways it's like you pushed really hard. But there's a lot of individuals that resent your energy here with this Ten of Cups and the High Priestess energy with that Empress. That sense of knowing that you've had and the abilities that you've had, because you've been always very capable. And so there's been a lot of energy where you've been feeling, I feel like we've really you've processed the reasons why like you need to apologize. But nobody's really apologizing back to you. Everybody's very unapologetic. And they utilize the skills, it's like you've watched a lot of people grow in the process with you, But for whatever reason, nobody really wants you to feel like you're the reason that they experienced that growth fully. It's like everybody wants to feel that you still got to apologize to them. Because in that High Priestess Empress energy, you've, in the process of like being very... exposed, so it's like a willingness to be kind of raw in who and what you are, has exposed those same rawnesses in others, but they don't like that, and so it's like if you're stuck, it's like we feel kind of a little bit it's like we still love those people. We still love like a lot of those individuals. You know, I mean, my mom's a good example. It's like I love my mom to pieces, but she can't be at all apologetic towards me, and it's like always is expecting me to apologize for the way that our relationship has descended into nothing. You know, it's like, and so it's like we can't continue to be apologetic. Okay, so it's like I'm done saying I'm sorry. We can't keep being like, well, hey, I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry. I love you. I want this to work. You know, I want to be in your life. And like I know it's like it didn't go great or whatever. You know, it's like I know there's mistakes made on both parts. Well, we can't keep doing all of that talking when the other party's just kind of like, well, it's high time you apologized. Where it's like, well, shit, dude, like that just breaks our heart again, you know, and that's what that King of Cups right here is telling us, you know, to like it's like it's hard to accept, you know, it really is. It's like when you give fully, or when you really are coming at genuine at people, and it doesn't and it creates, and there's conflict, or there's that unhealed energy, because and there's like a need for apology, and it doesn't reciprocate both ways. That kind of leaves us feeling well, it leaves us feeling unhealed, you know. But in the long run, they say too that the apology is for the one who's apologizing. It's not for the one that they're apologizing to, you know. And so it's like what we need to do is apologize to ourselves, right, and move forward in that energy. And if we get kind of drugged back down into that energy here, where we feel that it's not that we're kind of being put in a position where it's like, no, we've apologized, we've moved past that now, we're not going to go back there now, then we need to listen to our Knight of Cups and remain true to ourselves in that, you know, and just say, no, 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 no. You close that chapter and done the work, you know. It's like that's the thing. An apology is useless without the healing work, you know. And so we got to be unapologetic in our approach right now, because the Empress is unapologetic, and so is the High Priestess. She's unapologetic as well, especially when they're holding 10 cups, because like she's not gonna go back into that Nine of Cups energy, and we got Ace of Cups. So that's that cup. See, that's us. That's the cup that we need to be the most concerned about right now, because that is the cup that overfloweth. Okay, and so that's the cup that fills those other 9 cups in that 10 of Cups. See, and so without that Ace of Cups, you can't have them 10 cups. You know, you got 9 cups, which is like the wish fulfillment is so. But wish fulfillment is complete when you get 10 cups, and so wish fulfillment is that 9th cup, where you really, or 10th cup. It's like that Ace of Cups. It's where you really, 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 really see your truth, your self-worth, you know. And so it's like regardless of what progression that you obtain those cups in. And so it doesn't matter if you start out with the Ace of Cups, you know, or you start out with the 3 of Cups or whatever. It's however you obtain those cups. So it could be the last card that you acquire, and you say, oh, I see who and what I am now. Damn, I really love me. Boom, 10 cups, right? But some people start off seeing that right out of the gates, you know, and then they get those other cups, right, progressively or whatever. And then they get that 10th cup, which could be whatever. So a lot of people are like, it's, you know, the love of your life or whatever, you know. But, like, honestly, it could be that, you know, I guess. It should, you know, right? It should be the first card that we receive. But the thing is that for us, like the chosen ones, yeah, we may have started off from that point at birth, at conception, you know. As soon as God created us in the womb, we're like, yeah, I love myself. Then we came out of the womb, and we're like, damn. So it's been like, fuck. That Ace of Cups keeps getting put back in the deck, you know. And so it's like we've kind of progressed. We've had to figure out how to work with these other cups and shit. And now we're at that point where, like our completion now, because like we've tried to have completion in others and all of that shit too, you know. It's like we've tried that, like we've gone down those paths, and they didn't work out. And so it's like that's what stood in the way of us having that Ace of Cups. And so now we're gonna get that Ace of Cups, which is actually our 10 cups. It's our 10th cup, you know. And so we see ourselves fully in a way that can't be compromised by like what anybody else is fucking thinking, you know. They can't block our harvest, whether they apologize or not, or whether they feel that they received from us what they think they need to receive from us that could help them feel better about themselves, you know. It's like we can't be too worried about delivering on that, because we got to worry about being an Empress who's a High Priestess who knows herself thoroughly with the 10 cups right here, you know. And so that's really that's why they say, I mean, you know, you guys, it's like I've been really just, you know, pontificating, right, or whatever. I've been thinking about this one. I don't know if that's the right word or not, but I've been thinking a lot about it, because I have been in my High Priestess energy, very powerfully so, beyond doubt. I'm, you know, in a lot of ways in my practice, you know, it's like I say, I mean, I'm in complete and total isolation, and I've been, you know, I'm not in sale, you know. I've been in really isolation. I mean, Father has blessed me in a lot of ways with that, with no temptation in regards to a lot of the physical aspects of life, you know, and just like, and like, no, excuse me, no distractions. And I've been, you know, just like I said, I live an extremely isolated lifestyle. I spend all my time by myself, and for the last year I've been in that. But it was a period that I really needed, and it's helped me fully embrace my my High Priestess energy, because that's required. You know, it's like you got to have a period of solitude with God Most High. You know, where that's all that you that's your basically like your only relationship. You know, in all ways, right? And so it has to be a period too that's like very cleansing, where you step away from any of that. Like I've had to really step away from like all you know, sexual energy, you know, like, and it's been very healing for me. And I've had to also step away from not just that, but just like the as humans, you know, like I said, that 10 of cups and that Ace of cups, you know, it's the ability, like really trying to stand in that ability to stand alone, you know, and not be lonely. Like that's hard. That's what they're really saying too, because with that Knight of Cups, bringing that Ace of Cups to us, you know, that's us offering to ourselves that cup of self love right there, which is like the missing ingredient for us, you know. And so we're really having an opportunity now. God has like had to set us aside, you know. They've had to take us out of the world around us, and like being, you know, like, it's honestly too, it's like I feel invisible. It's like really weird, you know. I don't go to town very often, you know, but when I do, it's like every, you know, I don't go very often, maybe once a month, maybe, you know, if I have to. And when I do, I feel invisible. It's really strange, you know, like almost like a ghost, you know. But I've been taken so far out of society now that I guess I just am seeing things differently in the Matrix, you know. And so, but through that ability of really being like that far separated, you know, like I've had to see myself, you know, through all that clutter, like, and I wouldn't have been able to do it to the capacity of a 10 of cups without that isolation, you know. And so like God's given me that opportunity to see myself clearly with this Knight of Cups here, and develop that self-love, you know. And that's when you get to the top of the mountain, and that's like you know, hard work. And I you know, like I don't know, it's really strange as a reader doing the reads here right now, because like it's really that way, you know. I don't know anybody else who's been on that path, you know. Like I don't really see or know anybody, you know, like nobody. Everybody's got people around them and stuff, you know, like that. And so it's been very strange, but it's a very intense period. And I'm not saying, I guess, that you gotta be full on in isolation like that, but I do know that that's what God does with their chosen ones when they're gonna set them on their temple path with this Empress card and that High Priestess card, you know. And so, um, you know, I mean, I'm talking to a collective, right? And these messages all resonate. They resonate with us, especially those of us who continue to come back here. And so if you've been able to do that work and keep up with the progress here and keep climbing that and staying up on that mountaintop, even around others right now, damn, you're a powerful chosen one. Fucking damn. For reals, you know, because like I couldn't have, I don't think so. God could do anything, I guess, you know, definitely. And through us, they could accomplish everything. But I don't have enough faith in myself to be able to do that. That would have been very difficult, you know. And so here we are right now. Again, you guys, still on top of the mountain with a lot of love. With a lot of love for ourselves as the Empress and the High Priestess. Are we going to trust it? With that moon card, you know, we gotta trust it, okay? And so it's like right now, the seeds that we're gonna sow with are from our internal kingdom, right? And so it's like if we have that self-trust right now, that self-worth right here, if we stand in that energy and really water those seeds that we're trying to sow, so it's like we have to have the right emotion behind our thoughts, okay? And so it's like in order to manifest what it is that we want in our life, which is what we're doing here, in order to get that harvest, to get to that harvest, and to manifest it in this high divine feminine energy right here, which is very creative. And so that means that we can create right now. Well, we have to be very, very realistic with ourselves about the energy that we're going to utilize to create in, okay? And so we can't be making those past mistakes that we made where we didn't trust the circumstances because we didn't have that trust inside of ourselves, okay? I mean, it's like what I just said, you know? And so it's like, what has blocked our ability to manifest with the Magician card and the Devil card here? What has blocked the Empress and the High Priestess right now from her manifestations, from her taking her manifestations all the way to fruition to where she could harvest those manifestations, has been the worry. You know? The lack, you know, the lack mentality, the doubt, right? And so it's like, well, what made that, you know, like what was the thing that created that doubt, like in us as when we're a High Priestess and an Empress, right? Well, it was like our inexperience, you know, and so we can't let the devil confuse us anymore or block our ability to be the magician. We can't let them stop our manifestations from coming in any longer, because they kind of got away with that so many times as we're coming up that mountainside in the past. And so we've climbed the mountain, and the whole time we kept trying, and the devil kept doing everything that they could to make it seem like we didn't know what we were doing, you know. But that's because that's the way the devil keeps you bound, and that's the way the devil takes away from you and makes it so that you can't be the magician, is that they keep you bound right here within thoughts of like, because I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not succeeding, you know. And that's the lie. That's the lie that the devil tells, because that don't mean you don't know what, like, because you don't know what you're doing doesn't mean you're not succeeding, as long as you continue to try, you know. And so they've always blocked us from feeling our best by like making us feel like we didn't know what we were doing, and we would walk away from those situations, you know. And so like that's where like God and the devil, though, they're working in a way that's always going to guide us to our highest path, you know, because it's like God does something good for us, we take advantage of that opportunity, the devil comes in and tempts us and makes us feel stupid, Like, we don't know what the hell we're doing. And it's like, oh, we're going to F it all up. And, oh, this is like not going to succeed. This ain't going to work. Oh, my God, what am I going to do? Oh, shit, we make a mistake. Things go wrong. And that empire crumples. Right? But then God's always waiting there again with that Ace of Cups, right? With that next opportunity, with that opportunity, with the Magician card, you know? And so God always lands you back in that position after you trust him. Because after you give up on that devil energy, you step into the fool energy, which is 0, because you're like, wait a minute, you know, after you effed everything up, you're like, damn, you know. And so then you start to reflect on what it is that you just went through, and you realize, damn, I learned a lot though through that situation, you know. And that's how God and the devil work together, honestly, to get us to where we need to be, you know. And so it's like, yeah, you got to start over again, but you start over again with more knowledge, with more information, you know, with more ability, with more experience. And so when that devil comes in and tries to tempt you, you could be like, wait a minute. I've been through this, and I know how this is going to go, and I understand what's going on here now. And that's what God's trying to get us to do here, you know. And so, like, with that confidence comes self-love. You know, with our ability to stand up against the devil comes our ability to love ourselves fully and the light that God asks us to shine in, you know, as the High Priestess and the Empress. And we start to have that real self-worth and that value for ourselves, you know, to see ourselves fully, you know, as the tree through the forest, right? Instead of getting all that other clutter and all that other shit coming in that doesn't give us self-confirmation, you know, because with that ace, that Knight of Cups and that Ace of Cups and that Ten of Cups is the self-confirmation, which is the harvest that we've been waiting for. Okay, believe in yourself. Absolutely, believe in yourself right now. Absolutely, no matter what the world thinks about you, you know, God loves you. Eight of Pentacles again. And so yeah, man, keep doing the work that you're doing. We're doing excellent work right now, you guys. I'm going to get to work right now. I'm going to leave it here. This is a good message. I hope it helps to spread more light on your situation, whatever your situation may be. And I hope that you're feeling very powerful and shedding those energies that we no longer have to carry. Because that's what we're trying to do right now. We're going to move forward, and we're going to manifest in a whole brand new energy of abundance, you know, of everlasting abundance, because that's what we've been really working for. You know, we just got to step out of this nine of wands energy right now that is like still plaguing us a little bit. You know, it's like, it's kind of like it's hanging there where we're still feeling the pain of the past, you know, and not seeing the promise of the future, you know. And so we really got to see the promise of the future right now, and we have to understand that pain from the past, that's like we had to acquire that energy in order to transmute it into the highest energies that we're in right now, you know. And so we're doing our alchemy, and it's working, and it's like now we have to see the value in that, and then really learn how to use those higher energies that we're going to transmute that lower energy stuff that we've been through into. And so you're a magician, High Priestess, Empress, with 10 of Cups, Ace of Cups, Knight of Cups. Your harvest is coming in because you've worked so hard right now. And so you have to see your true worth. You have to see your true value. And then love yourself fully, you know. Love yourself fully. And then bring in that 10 of Pentacles, because that's what's next, you know. Especially after we've already taken the devil down to their size, you know. And we whack him on the head with that fucking wand right there. And we showed him time and time again. You're not going to block us. You're not going to stop us. You're not going to bind us. You're not going to control us. And you're not going to tell us what to do. We're the chosen ones, and we're going to stand in that light. We're going to be that light, and we're going to thrive right now. That's all we want. Right, baby? That's all we want. We want happiness, and we want to thrive. Right, baby? High Priestess, Empress, come on. You know, you got this one, sweetheart. Just quit worrying about it. Everything's going to be just fine. All right? And so I love you guys. Peace out.